there, my fellow misfitians, and welcome back to another video. So this is the second time that I have filmed this because I did not realize my microphone was completely dead. So the first time when I filmed it, you saw everything, but you didn't hear anything. So this is take 2 of this. So very first thing that I wanted to say is a update from last week's video. Last week I said I didn't do like any affiliate links and all of that stuff. I haven't done that for years. And I wanted to reapply for the Amazon affiliate program where basically if you leave links for people, you get a small commission from them. But I honestly have not been a part of that for years, and it took a while for me to be approved for that. The last time, so I honestly thought that I would have problems getting approved again, but guess what? I got approved. So now, as an update, if you see Amazon links, they are in the future now going to be affiliates, and I'll make sure to put that down, that I am getting a small commission when you use those links. I'm only going to add links to supplies that I actually really use on a daily basis. Unless I state kind of otherwise, like, hey, here's a product that I tested if you're interested in it, but these are blah, 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 my thoughts. I always appreciate when people are very honest about reviews, whether they like them or not. Sometimes I will buy products from people even if they don't necessarily like it, but they're honest about basically, hey, I didn't like this, but you might like it if you like this. So I'm going to try and do that with my supplies as well. So yeah, that's an update for that. Another thing is the most asked question, and I think there was a lot of people who asked this question this week, and it was on an older video. And that is, what watercolor palette do I use? And I tried to answer all of those comments as best as possible. Another thing I want to say is when I answer comments, it's typically on Friday. So if you have put a comment down on Saturday or Sunday, I will try to get to those comments on those days, but those particular days are actually really busy for me. But upload schedule actually works better on those days. But that being said, my comment day when I usually comment back is on Friday. Sometimes I can get to it a little bit earlier, but Friday is actually the day that I'm filming this. So I usually go through the comments to see if I need to do a let's chat where I'm basically connecting with y'all again. And I try and respond to as many comments as possible on Friday because Friday is a little bit more of a slow day for me. So that being said, I tried to respond to everybody's comments, but most of y'all, either I had some of my misfitians telling other people, so thank you so much for doing that. If I can't get to a comment, and you know the answer to it, please comment down below. I totally don't mind that. I love having a community where people share and everything like that. So a lot of you noticed, that it's a Jackson watercolor palette. So this is it right here. This is my favorite porcelain watercolor palette ever. I actually have bought several over the years. I bought a circular one. I bought an S-shaped one. This one was actually gifted to me. I did not purchase this one. It was gifted to me from a misfitian. They fell in love with it. They purchased it for themselves, they fell in love with it, and they basically were like, hey, I think you would really like this. They were exactly right. I love this porcelain palette so much so that I did not plan this, but I actually purchased a second one 2 weeks ago, and it actually just came in the mail today. So this is the second one that I actually just purchased. It's exactly the same. I thought that it was slightly different, but it's not. After opening it up, it's exactly the same as mine, which I'm so excited about. Some of you might be going, Carrie, why do you need a second one? As you can tell with the other one, I have it set up based on the color wheel because I'm still working. I've been working on a color mixing course for probably about 2 years now. And basically I've been really working on secrets that I have figured out over the years with color mixing and putting that all together. But I set up that color palette basically for that color mixing course so that I can help better explain color mixing. That is coming in the future. I have been working on that for years. Just trying to really dive into that and understand it so that I can teach it very thoroughly. But I wanted a second one because first off, that one is being used for that course. But then secondly, as you can tell, there was no neutrals in that one. So what I wanted to do with this one is put my neutrals such as burnt umber, yellow ochre. I have a gold brown, a couple of other basically neutrals that I use a lot that would not be considered on the color wheel, as well as some specialty paints. I wanted to put some of my Daniel Smith Inference, I think is what they're called. They're like sparkly paints. I wanted to put some of those in here as well. So this one I want to make more of my neutrals as well as specialty paints that sometimes I pull out and sometimes I don't. So I purchased the second one with my own money. That's to just kind of show you how much I absolutely love this particular palette so much. And this is not sponsored or anything like that. I purchased this with my own money and I'm so happy that it's here. So I can start putting my paints in it and filling it up. This is like my early birthday present to me. So my birthday's coming up and I was like, I want to splurge on my birthday and get a second one of these. So that's what I did. I purchased this, and for those of you who are curious, it is, in my opinion, one of the best watercolor palettes out there. And the reasons why is because I love how deep the wells are, so it can hold a lot of paint. But another reason why I really like it is because when I wet my paints with my water spray bottle, which you saw in that video, it pulls the water on top to help activate the paints as well as keep them activated. So when you have smaller wells of water and you wet your paints, sometimes they will dry as you're working with them, and you have to continually keep wetting them. One thing that's really nice about this one is that I have found sometimes I'll wet my watercolor palette and really, really wet it good. And then I'll notice after painting like an hour, the paints are still very wet, even the ones that I haven't used. And it just really helps keep them activated for longer amounts of time. So it allows me to paint longer and use the colors that I have been using for longer. So that is one reason why I really love this palette. I love the mixing surface. It's great for mixing on. A lot of times I use plates for mixing just because they're easier to clean up. But recently I've been trying to use more of the inside of my watercolor palette instead of plates. A lot of times I use plates because since I'm teaching, specifically color mixing and colors for tutorials, I like to start with fresh paints so that when I am choosing a color, it is exactly what you will use in the tutorial. So basically, if I'm using a cadmium, the best way for me to explain this is if I'm using a cadmium yellow, and that cadmium yellow on my watercolor palette in the mixing area maybe has a little bit of cadmium orange in it or a little bit of red, it's going to mix slightly differently with, let's say, a green, like I'm trying to get a nice olive green. it's going to mix a little bit differently for me because of that orange pigment that's slightly in there. So to make sure that everything is exactly the same when I'm teaching it to y'all, I typically like to work with fresh paint or work with paint basically that's very, very clean, so that the colors that I'm getting is exactly the colors that you would be getting. However, if I'm painting for fun, I like to just paint inside of here. So anyway, can you tell I'm excited? I love this palette. I've been wanting to get a second one for years, but I couldn't basically in my head justify getting a second one because you really only need one. But then when it was like my birthday, I was like, I'm going to splurge on myself and get a second one. So that's what I did. Anyway, if y'all are interested, it is a little bit pricey, but this is supposed to be like a gift, that a lifetime gift basically. It's supposed to last your entire lifetime. Once you buy one, if it doesn't break, you should only be able to use one. I have actually cleaned out my Jackson watercolor palette several times because I have changed my colors. For my color palette, I've exchanged some colors out. So an easy way to do that is just wet the color and then take a palette knife to kind of pull it out so that you can pop that color out that you want to get out. And then it's pretty easy to just clean that little well out and then fill it up with the new color, whatever you want. So this is very much a lifetime purchase when you get one of these, and you can just completely change your palette over and over and over again if you want to, which I have done multiple times because I change my favorite color list quite a bit. But there's a couple of tried and true colors that I always stick with. So anyway, that is it for this week's video. If you're still interested in the course, yesterday was the Fox tutorial. All of that is inside of Watercolor Misfit Land. There was a couple of problems last week with downloading images. I think my husband and I fixed that. Some of the files, for some reason, when we had an update happen, some of the files had issues. I don't know exactly what happened. So I think we have that fixed. But if you're still having problems downloading your images, just make sure to email my husband. He's more of the techie person. I honestly don't know a lot of that stuff. He manages more of the techie stuff. And he'll get back to you about that. But yeah, everything's going really well in the course. Everyone's really seeming to like it. So I'm currently putting together the pumpkin. I filmed it, I've created it, I recorded the teaching, I've written the scripts, so I basically have to edit everything together and then put that all together inside of Misfit Land. So that's on its way, coming very, very soon. And I'm working on that. So yeah, that's about it for this week's Let's Chat video. Lots of love, y'all. I hope you are having a wonderful week. I'm having a really good week. You can probably tell, I'm having a really, really good week. I am absolutely loving the fox and the pumpkin and the little witch's hat. And I'm really trying to slow down and just enjoy the holidays. I feel like for the past couple of years, I haven't really enjoyed them because of health mainly. So I'm trying to just kind of slow down a bit and enjoy the holidays and really take in the festivities and have fun. Plus my birthday is just a couple of days away, so that's always fun too. Anyway, lots of love, y'all. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.